Oh my God.
Not as cute as Pushkin. One of the things that I'm loving about this show, and I actually think it's like something that I really enjoy about shows in general, is figuring out where they came up with their title. Because I think that when a show kind of has fun with that, it's fun for the audience. And this show definitely has fun with that. All right. If you've been here before, you know what we're doing next. If you're new, just grab your remote, get your thumb ready to press that play button, but don't do it yet, because in order to get all of our TVs across the world synced up together, we are all going to press, it's so simple, we're all going to press our play buttons at the same time on the count of 3. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
That was a loud 3.
That was a good 3.
It was.
Huzzah.
I love the coat that Lorelai's wearing.
By the way, I rarely ever wear my glasses when I'm watching, because it makes it hard for me to see the phone. I can't really see the phone when I have my glasses on. And I just put them on for the first time in the longest time and realized how grainy it is. It's almost exactly the same as not wearing my glasses.
I feel like it's definitely grainy today. It's not usually this bad.
I don't think it's grainy on the DVD.
Not grainy on mom.
My Netflix is crystal clear. I love the
Same here.
Vero line.
Literally, she can sell ice to an Eskimo.
Her shoes in that bag looked huge.
I probably have the same amount in my closet and wear maybe two pairs all the time, and I don't know why I don't throw the rest out.
I just meant they look like a really big size, Sherry, but that too.
She said she wore a 9.
Well, she does also wear boots. So those could be boots as well. Can anyone guess what I'm eating?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Can anyone guess what I'm eating?
Yogurt.
I
No,
could, but I'd
actually.
be cheating.
Oh my gosh,
Look,
this guy's
it's
back.
Terrence.
Oh my God, Terrence is back. I love him.
Oh, I thought she killed him or something. Killed him with her glue gun.
Can we take a moment for Paris's crafting skills? Because do you see like the stained glass art and then the blanket that's on the couch there? Like she stepped it up since macaroni.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
is George Bell?
I don't think she met
Professor Bell in
I don't
this?
think she made.
Yes, he is. She might have knitted.
Don't underestimate Paris.
Yeah, seriously.
Go, Terrence.
Court ordered rehab.
So good.
John, the headmaster's back.
Oh my goodness.
Rory looks great in this entire episode.
Oh yes, her outfits have definitely improved.
I don't see the bell on his desk.
I think that because of them.
Maybe he got rid of it so the puffs couldn't do their puff.
Yeah, so they couldn't be like tempted.
Maybe Franny stole it when she graduated.
Senior prank.
I always loved on the show they always recycled outfits like real people would.
They do.
With different.
We've already seen
like,
that outfit
chocolate
on Rory.
colors. We've seen the shirt already.
Yeah, and the coats too. Like we see them a lot.
And in one of the last couple episodes, she was wearing the skirt that she originally wore with that shirt. I just wasn't in that episode.
And the dragonfly shirt.
I love that line. Who heard that?
Like Penelin.
He's got right on the fine part.
That's generally the case with all universities, not just you.
Rory's like shooting him dagger eyes, like, please stop talking.
I love the
And
way
then
he delivered
he's
that.
He's seeing her in a white dress.
So they're officially broken up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they
Oh,
are.
yeah.
Yeah, she said that last episode with Marty. She broke up with
Wait,
Oh
what?
yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
She's wearing the shirt again.
He never.
Oh, she got
Yeah,
popped.
but this
never
time
wore
there's not
that
a diner
shirt.
full of people.
He never wore that shirt.
Oh wow! So I feeling this might be a big Liz episode, which would be about time.
Well, that was awkward.
How quick did he change the subject?
I love that scarf she's wearing.
And her skirt.
Same. I honestly wished I was a teenager during this time because I would have loved that whole outfit.
Paris's hair looks cute on her too.
That was so awkward.
I love that.
Do you notice
face
the
Paris
vinyls behind Paris?
makes. I just did. That is an awful lot of vinyl.
That's an impressive collection.
Hey! I love Marty in this scene.
I love that he just walks in.
Use Doritos as toast point. Music.
Where again was this shot? This stuff? Is this all USC?
This is so fun.
This is not. This is on the lot. 'Cause I've been in
According
this.
to IMDb, it's all the studio.
Oh wow. Yeah, this is definitely a lot because I've been in this room.
I think it's totally unrealistic that neither Rory or Lorelai have ever heard of this so-called dark day that everybody else.
I always thought that too. Thought it was strange.
Same. But they get very self-absorbed, so I'm kind of not surprised.
Oh, good point.
But I always wonder, is it to highlight that they're self-absorbed, or was it just like continuity error?
Maybe both.
Probably continuity error. Self-absorbed.
Both.
Or maybe just used to develop the storyline so that characters are talking about.
I guess that could explain why they don't know, because everybody else grew up with Luke. It's been there for years. Longer than Lorelai and me.
Like Cousin Turner.
I was just gonna say more Kate.
Looks kind of small to house that many books.
Maybe it has multiple rooms.
Yeah, I always thought it was a small room in a big library. My libraries always had like small rooms.
This episode does have best smell ever.
Bring a book to sniff. Oh, it makes me laugh.
There you go, John.
There it is.
That guy, that like extra in the background, kind of looked like Ashton Kutcher. So
By the way, that's the door to our apartment right behind them,
That's
right
what
there.
I thought.
That's the door to our apartment. I don't think it's supposed to be our apartment in this shot. I think they sort of.
That's cool.
Well, that's your garage, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's where the van would be parked. That's where the sub van would be. They've clearly decorated the house to look like it's not our apartment, but it is.
Yeah, I don't think the band would have such a cute wreath on the door.
And knickknacks in the
In
window.
the
You know
window.
what? I could see Brian being into that.
Are those Brian's toys in the window?
It might be.
Well, we only had half a shelf, so.
Well, the mailbox says it's the Thompsons' house, so, and they've put a big, huge bush there in front of the area where we would be walking. Yeah, see, like there's a big bush there. That would be open.
I mean, you just seen the whatchamacallit in the background there. The gazebo. And can't you see the gazebo from Luke's? From Luke's?
Yeah, he's in front of Luke's.
That's disturbing image.
That was totally ADO.
I can totally relate to the dark day.
January 13th every year is my dark
December
day.
13th.
I love that. How biblical.
Ew, no
Flashback to the concert
What?
episode. Flashback to the concert episode. Ooh, that's
Oy.
awkward. That's awkward.
Oy.
Poor Marty.
You could feel
Marty
the
deserves
heart
better.
breaking.
And I'm hoping that Marty comes back in the revival. I don't have a lot of hope that it's gonna happen, but I want it to. This girl is very weird.
This girl had a very weird upbringing.
Oh my gosh, Paris looked great. I love that hair.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my gosh!
Yes.
What is Paris wearing? I always look at this outfit and just scratch.
Also, this girl is like, you know, when you're a kid, you're like, man, I grew up, I'm gonna stay up all night and do whatever I want. And then once you get grown up to like sleeping at a decent time because you have responsibilities.
I would pay attention to this.
I
Oh my
love
god.
this scene so much.
god.
One of my favorite scenes.
Oh,
Such a good scene. Now I know why somebody shared Kai's interview.
she won't be sleeping for long.
I can hear Emma scream.
Oh my god.
This is awesome.
The looks on their faces.
Ninja.
Yeah.
Thank you, Finn.
Enter Finn.
Oh gosh, Finn.
Finn can arrest me.
Wait.
It's so good.
Wait.
Alan
What is the
Wait.
face that Logan is making right now?
told us the story about this scene. I'll tell you afterwards.
The hat slowly falling further and further down his face.
Oh, that Life and
That
Death
was great.
Brigade.
I'm with Rory. I'd be mortified.
She's so ticked.
Oh, absolutely.
Honestly, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hilarious though. I feel like I'd want to play along.
I would have loved that.
Look at all that stuff she had in her garage.
John, do you
No,
think
that's
all
the
of this
stuff
stuff would have just been like on the lot?
All what stuff?
The
Just
stuff that's there is Mrs. Thompson's stuff she had to buy to get the book.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of props, like, would it have just been stuff that was found?
oh yeah, they wouldn't have. I mean, they wouldn't have gone out and bought new stuff for sure. No, they've got plenty in like storage and prop departments and kind of like the costumes. Like there's a huge vault of costumes.
Speed dating.
Been there, done that. No way in hell am I going back.
How is Giovanni
her life
Ribisi?
Oh, she took
Behind
her hair
her.
down.
It looks like him, but it isn't him.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I thought the same thing the first time.
Yeah, I looked it up before. I forgot that it's not him.
Her blood type.
That's one of my favorite Paris lines.
I love it. She's a piss.
She won't be writing mother about that one.
Ooh.
Yes.
Hey,
Oh my god.
slightly insulted.
Aha. So that's gonna be a love interest. Is gonna be
She
Doyle in
found
Paris.
somebody to have an interesting conversation with.
I understand why Paris wants to suffocate her.
She is nothing like Rory.
No, definitely not.
She's gonna be so wild in college and be so much trouble.
That's Rory. Oh, oh. That's Rory if Rory's raised by Emily.
I love Paris's sleeping top. It's so great.
Yeah, Paris.
So charming.
I love how he knows he's about to get it.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
He wants it though. He wants it.
These miscreant.
Frat boy, the worst
I
insult
use
of
that
all.
as D in a D&D.
I just love how he challenges you to sort of decide whether or not you really like that or accept, like, you know, there's like two sides to the coin. I mean, like, on the one hand, it's just so entitled that this guy kind of feels like he can just do whatever he wants, but at the same time, it's pretty fun. I mean, it is pretty fun.
Yeah, Logan's got.
I love it.
What was that tape?
And Rory has been kind of missing fun in her life, so she kind of needs it.
I'm the
As he
total
said-
opposite.
As he said during You Jump, I Jump, that she's just a little secluded.
I'm the opposite. If someone interrupted my class like that, I would have literally never spoken to them again.
Rut-row, kids missing. And I meant sheltered, not secluded.
Oh, going to Marty again.
Naked guy has come a long way.
I really like Marty a lot.
Well,
I really hope he's in the revival.
I would have dated him.
He walks so funny in his.
Uh-oh.
Oi, 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 oi.
I don't know who to side with. Luke.
Him.
I'm siding with Luke on this one.
I'm half and half.
I understand why she did what she did, but she should have respected his wish.
But do you remember when Rory said, get rid of my box? And she didn't. And of course, Rory was fine with it later.
Yeah.
I feel like Lorelai thinks she knows best. And a lot of times that works out for her.
It's a theme throughout the show. A lot of characters think that they know what's best for the
I
other
was
person.
just about to say the same thing. That's Emily to it.
Well, that's also Logan, by the way.
Agreed.
Yep.
Or Rory telling her dad not to contact her mom.
Yeah.
That street is on the lot, by the way. They did a really good job of making that look real with all that fog and stuff coming up. It's cool.
Ooh.
Huh. I was expecting a lot more of Liz in this episode, I guess.
Well, this is the party, so you'll have more.
Yeah, but we only have about 5 more minutes.
Yoga for dummies.
Yeah, all of that was recorded like in studio. You can sort of tell.
I love Suki's dress.
I like Lorelai's jacket there.
That's the same one she had on at the beginning of the.
They better keep this dark day tradition. I mean, I want to see it come back in subsequent years on the show.
So I guess Lorelai was right after.
Yep.
This is a pirate ship?
Pirate ship.
Arg.
I mean, it really looks like a bunch of nautical antiques all thrown together
Him
into a
crying is killing.
Also, they moved it and like none of the cobwebs moved, which is fun.
That was sad.
Oh my god.
This is so good.
Oh, I love this so much.
Oh my god.
Love that they both stand up out of respect when they see.
Oh, Richard's one-upping him.
Finn's face.
All of their faces.
I love it.
It's just so good.
Totally one-upping him.
Finn's face is great.
I'm surprised the poor boy didn't faint.
Logan's face is good too. He's like, what the heck?
Oh my god. Logan fainting would have been the cherry on top to make this.
Welcome to
so
the family, son.
Just
That's
wait
my
for it.
favorite Richard moment.
So
Oh my god, that was so good. That was so good.
I love it. He's all
I love
ready
these
to
little
roar.
moments between the two of them. They have such a sweet relation.
What a
I can't
lighthearted
believe
ending.
I forgot that was in this episode.
Oh my goodness, that was great. That was so good. All right,
No.
I am opening up the couch to bring up our remaining folks, and we're going to do it again as we did it before. I'm going to open the couch. Please do not raise your hand unless I call your name. All right. Oh wait, actually, it was already open. Sorry about that. All right, going into my reservations, going into post show. Great. So we've got Jess, Zack, and Lisa. Zack, Lisa, and Jess. I'm looking for Jess.
Hey, good evening, everyone. So glad to be up here.
I'm not actually
Hi,
seeing
Zack.
Jess.
Hey, Zack.
Hey
everyone.
She's on the first row. It says BRB Drive.
Oh yeah, Jess, what's going on? Are you trying to and it's not letting you? Oh no, so Jess can't do it right now. So I'm not going to charge Jess the kernels and Lisa.
She's driving, I guess.
Oh, no problem. Sandra Emma Carroll.
While we're waiting on those Death 11 things. Hi, everybody.
Fantastic. All right.
Can't respond.
Sandra, Emma, Carol, and Lindsay. Lindsay. Come on up, Lindsay. Where you at, Lindsay? I'm not seeing Lindsay.
Me either.
Okay. So that's that. We're closing off the couch. A smaller post-show couch tonight, which is nice. That's gonna allow us to have a little more conversational, I would imagine.
Yay!
I love that last moment.
That was
One
so
of my
awesome.
favorite. It's my favorite
you're
Rory
watching
and Richard
this.
moment.
What's up?
How do you need a salad while watching this? I tried one today. I could not hear anything. I had headphones in for the show and I was listening to you guys. I couldn't hear anything.
Oh, well, I
The
wasn't eating a
crunchy thing
salad
you had.
tonight, but yes, I don't know. What I do is I don't know. I only, when I listen to the show, I actually have one headphone on my left ear and the other one off so that I can hear the phone, because if I have both of them on, I can't really hear my phone, but I don't really have any problem
That's
with
what
it.
I do too.
Wow.
I don't really have any
here.
problem with that. I don't know. Maybe I'm good. Maybe I don't have enough echo in my head.
You just think
I don't know. I don't know.
Big brain, no
this
echo
was
chamber.
this was a very sweet episode. That last moment was really, really nice, and
I love
Really
these
made-
episodes. The
really
season
made me
five is
sad.
so good.
Really made me sad about Ed. You know.
Yep. Every time I see that scene, it's my favorite Rory and Richard moment, but every time I see that scene, it just makes me sad because he's no longer here with us and it just makes
Yeah,
me sad.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. But yeah, Shari was right. I was screaming and laughing the entire time during the scene in the classroom. She knows me so well. I laughed when I heard her say that during the scene. I was like, "Yep, she knows me so well."
All right. So wait, Diana, you're saying if somebody did that to you, if somebody would have done that to you in college, you would never have spoken to them again?
I am not a fan of like disrupting my thing that's really expensive that I paid for. I also like I'm in a huge minority, I know, but I'm not a fan of Colin and Finn. Like I could do without them completely.
Oh, please
Huh?
elaborate. Why? Why?
I agree with you, Zach.
Agreed.
Oh my god, I love
Why?
Wait,
it
I
so
haven't.
much.
I like Logan.
I don't
I
wanna-
didn't
I don't want to. Like I think that I'm with you on that, Diana. I don't want to go too deep down. I mean, personally, I would love to hear everyone else talk about it, but you know, I do. We are going to have Alan here with us next week, and Nick. But in general, like the Life and Death Brigade guys, like while that whole world is so interesting, and I just find it so fascinating, the actual personalities of those characters are just not my jive.
Well, Alan said it himself that he hated Colin.
Oh, really?
He's like,
Okay.
oh yeah.
Since when?
He told us this
Since I don't know when he
Yeah,
when
so
he
you
mentioned
guys have
it.
a fan fest
He
and stuff.
loved portraying the role, but as a person, he absolutely thought Colin was a jerk.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, and I think we get from Logan, a lot more depth. We don't get a ton of depth from them, so it's easier to like Logan. And I'm not a huge Logan apologist either, but like it is easier to like him because we get to know him, and the entitlement doesn't seem to run as I don't know, like obviously Logan is entitled, but like there, you kind of understand a little bit more. But those two, like, I'm like, how did they get here? Like, why are they in my school? Please go away. Like all the time, every time I watch it, same reaction. Just not a fan.
I love the term Logan apologist, and because it's clearly a difference from like being like Team Logan or whatever. I think I'm going to tip you just.
Cool.
I think that my biggest issue, I think, with the Logan character in general is the fact, I am enjoying all of this stuff. Like I do like that secret society world. I like this, all of the crazy weirdness of it all. It's fun. And I think he's a fun guy. But as a character, the vulnerability is just not there. You know, like I'm, you know, definitely not for like any of those other Life and Death Brigade characters, like, you know, Finn and Colin and Robert. There's just no vulnerability whatsoever in those characters. So I just don't like, I don't really care all that much. And then on top of it, they're like, you know, kind of a bunch of entitled guys, like, you know, entitled.
Oh,
Well,
absolutely they are.
There's
but,
ways to
but,
add
for,
the comic
but
relief.
for Logan's going to be a main character. We're going to get to know him. We're going to get to care about him and all these things. And the only way that I'm going to care about him is if I see some real vulnerability from that character. And right now, I just don't see it. He doesn't want to come down from his master and commander, you know, position of status. You know.
Can we add the couch?
What's up?
Shelley's here. Shelley Cole. Can we add her to the couch?
Oh yeah, Shelley. Come
Can
on.
I
now.
say something though?
Really?
Hey, Shelley.
Because I've been flashing.
Okay. How's your day going?
She's not up yet.
Tasha, you can speak. You can speak. What's going on?
Oh, I
You
just
can
didn't
speak.
know. I just didn't know if anybody.
No, I mean you can always speak. If there is a window of silence for a moment, which there were several, speak.
Okay. Jeez. So I don't understand, and I'm gonna put my full thought before people chime in. I don't understand why people hate Colin and Finn so much. Like, I get it to a point, but at the same time, it's like they're in college. They're rich, but like people have like their own viewpoint on how college is, and Logan pointed it out perfectly when Rory was kind of getting after him about what happened, and he was saying that like that's how like college is, and then Rory was like, well, that's how your college life is. And it's like there's different viewpoints on how people view college. I viewed it as hell on earth, but that's just me. But like some people haven't, like it's the same with high school. Like I found high school to be a great social scene. I didn't care for academics, and I don't know, like I would have loved to have been a part of not the Life and Death Brigade because I'm not crazy, but that friend group, because I love pushing people's buttons. I love getting under their skin, and I love having fun. And so like I don't know, I would have gelled really well with Colin and Finn and Logan. And I think like as we will see in the coming seasons, there's more layers to Logan. This is just his persona he's giving off because he can, and he's getting to Rory in a good way.
I actually agree with most of what Tasha says. I see these two guys as like your atypical college dudes. Like no matter what campus you go to, whatever college, you know, especially here in the continental U.S., you've got two guys like this. And as she clearly pointed out, you know, to each their own. People experience college in different ways, 100%. I think what some people are talking about is, you know, and she made a good point, you know, and I'm a huge fan of the statement, to each their own, or your mileage may vary. I think what other people, and I may be taking it the right way, I may be not, but I will need the people on the couch to clarify. It's like, does Logan really need these guys? Yeah, they're the Life and Death Brigade. Yeah, they're bros or whatever. But would the show be different? Could it even possibly be better without these characters? Would we see that vulnerability? Would we see him experiencing college on his own without these characters? Would that possibly give John the vulnerability or the challenge or whatever he wants to see from Logan without these two, you know, guys trumping along behind him?
I actually think that they, I cannot like those characters, but they also be extremely important to the Logan character and to that storyline. Like, you know, I've said this a bunch, that like when I say I don't really love a character, you know, I'm more speaking from like I'm not really into that person, you know, that character type. But as a part of the larger narrative, you know, I don't think that there's any character, with the exception of Mia, you know, from first season. There's no real character that I that I really don't like.
Oh my gosh,
Mia,
you're
though.
still on Mia.
But Mia, though, I mean, that character is horrible.
And that's me with Nicole.
I love that you still
Yeah.
don't like Mia.
It's great.
That
do
shocks me
anything
so
to you.
much.
But no, I mean, I actually, I think that here's, I guess, what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping, and speaking to a bunch of people who I'm pretending have not seen this, or know what's coming. I'm hoping that characters like Colin and Finn and Robert, that they sort of bring something to the Logan character that makes us want more from him than that. And I'm hoping that I see more from him than that. And if they didn't exist, I may not hope for that. And that in itself is good, right? Like the fact that I'm like, into this character, but don't like certain aspects of his personality, and sort of, but then, kind of understanding that Rory is kind of starting to like this guy. And since I'm seeing this through her lens, I too am starting to like the guy. And of course, I want to see those aspects of him peeled away. I want to see who's really under there. And I might not feel that way if he was just alone in college and whatnot. So I think that the vulnerability, or the desire to see vulnerability from our characters, it goes hand in hand with these obstacles that keep us from seeing that vulnerability.
Very cool. Thank you.
One of the
That's
things
great.
that I hearing though about those characters is that they don't take themselves so seriously. Like they're there to enjoy themselves, or they're enjoying life to the fullest. And it's kind of like what Rory meets almost in this moment. Because I mean, as she's taking this little girl through the book tours and stuff and sniffing books, he's like, well, why don't you go grab a coffee with her? You can bring a book to sniff, like just encouraging her to get out of her shell a little bit.
Except
I
that there are
have to-
people who are trying to take it seriously around them, and they are preventing that from happening. And that's where
Right. Some people just can't afford to not pay attention and have the full experience. And they did ruin it for the entire class because they never wound up going back to whatever they were discussing before the three of them burst into the.
I have to say, I really love that group, LDB. And I belong to a group of friends in college that was kind of similar. And we got up to some hijinks, and we were kind of notorious on campus. So I really love them, and I had the best time in college, and I can't imagine not belonging to that group. It was just so fun.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not denying that this is fun. Like I definitely am there with you on that. I am having fun with these characters, but maybe it's the difference ends there because I didn't have friends that were like that. I think that I can sort of I can draw a distinction between like I'm having fun with these characters and what they're doing and whatnot, and like would I ever want to have a beer with Finn? I can't imagine it.
To kind of build off with what you were saying earlier, Zachary, about whether or not the show could carry on and we could have more empathy for Logan, I feel like it almost adds to that whole socialite experience of having that entourage. So I feel like they almost need to come as a bunch in order for that character to be developed.
That's a good view. I appreciate you sharing that.
I mean, as far as disliking them, I don't at all. I think each and every one of them are very charming in their own way, and they bring a bit of what we haven't seen in these last couple of seasons. I mean, Lorelai's fun, the town's fun, and all that, but this is a different kind of fun. This is like young and things that Rory's gonna look back on in her life and go, that was fun. That was fun. And, you know, and that's what she needed in her life. Like everybody's been saying, she needed that in her life.
Yeah.
And she's been co-spirit.
No, I completely agree with you, Shauna, and what everybody has said about bringing a really fun aspect to different side of Rory, like bringing out like the fun side of her. Like this is what she needs during this time of her life, and I really relate to Rory during this time of her life as I've gotten older, especially. You know, I'm a very shy person. I'm a very like I don't put myself out there very much in my personal life because of my CP. I've gotten rejected by a lot of people throughout my life, and so I'm very, very shy when it comes to meeting new people in my personal life. So I don't like talk to people unless they talk to me first, because I'm just always afraid that I'm gonna get rejected by people. I'm working on it, but you know, that's something that I deal with. So if I had a group of friends like the LDB, you know, in college or just in general, like who would help me like get out of my shell and like do all of these fun adventures, like I think I would really benefit from that. So I think like I relate to Rory a lot in that aspect, and that's a lot of the reason why I love them so much. And like Finn just makes me laugh so hard. Everything that comes out of his mouth is so bizarre and so crazy, and he just makes me laugh. So that's why I think I love him so much.
But
So,
but you realize you have all of us.
yes, no, I realize that. I'm
Here, here.
saying like I know, and I'm grateful for that, you know, and honestly, this is something I wouldn't normally do. Like I wouldn't normally join like this type of community or anything like that. So I'm proud of myself that I did this, because I have a whole new group of friends now that I wouldn't have had otherwise. And so I'm grateful for this experience and this community, because I am getting out of my shell in a different way than I normally would. And so I'm grateful, but I'm saying like a lot of you I have not met yet, and I will be meeting you in October at FanFest, so I'm super excited for that. But I'm saying like when I was in college and things like that, I never like really made new friends. I never, you know, I never put myself out there really, because I was always afraid of getting rejected. And I did get rejected in college a lot. And so I never put myself out there. And so that's why I think I relate to Rory and in her experience with the LDB, because I really feel like if I had a group of friends like them in my life at that time, I really would have like gotten out of my shell a lot more. And I am getting out of my shell more and more as I've gotten older, but it's taking me time because I've been through a lot in my life. And so it's going to take time, but I know I'll get there. And I know with all of you, I'll get there even sooner, because I know you guys will help me do that. So
Thanks, Emma.
Huzzah for Emma.
Yeah.
Love you, kiddo.
Snaps. So I'm curious about like this whole idea of, because I mean, we see, it's a trope that we see in a lot of fiction where you know, you have this like this sort of mentor character who comes into another character's life to help them without that other character really asking for it. Right? Like that's kind of the main thing I think that's a little different, is that, you know, in real life, you don't often see that. In real life, like usually, you know, if somebody is looking to sort of help better an aspect of their personality and they see somebody else who can help them, they typically gravitate to that person or that group of friends. But in fiction, we always see it the opposite, where the character doesn't, you know, they don't, I mean, it's you know, part of a very like classic narrative structure, and you know, and it's definitely part of the hero's journey. where the hero doesn't really need it. The hero needs it, but the hero hasn't really asked for it, or they don't think they need it. They they may even in the beginning say that they don't want it, but that this character kind of comes in and sort of forces that mentorship on them, and then they realize like how much they needed that person.
Harvest.
Like the boat
That-
scene.
That makes sense.
That is something that we see here. It's interesting that it's in the context of a new boyfriend, for Rory. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying it's interesting because the character, Rory's character has been so independent, and here we have this, and it's part of why I sort of feel like, there's this like entitlement of Logan. I want to see, frankly, I would love, or maybe it'll happen. I don't know. I'd love to see the tables turn. I would love to see her suddenly realize, oh my gosh, I have a lot to learn from you. But as of right now, it doesn't feel like that's even remotely in the cards for this relationship.
Is that
Couldn't
even
that-
in his personality though?
Say that again.
Is that even in his personality that he could think
No,
that
no.
someone else has
Yes.
something better than him?
I don't think that it's in his personality, but I want to see him. I want to see him grow into a character who could potentially be open to that, right? Because if I just see this one personality and this one way of being the whole time, that doesn't come with vulnerability. That doesn't come with any of these things that are kind of important for me to really love a character.
But
And
I would said with Lorelai and Luke that he saw that she had his best intentions with the boat.
yeah,
That
But
like even was she pushed him, she did the right thing.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
It does.
Kathy Ann was flashing.
I do think that's I mean, it was a good Diana. That was really that was good observation. This idea that like the boat is really very similar to the box.
That was me, John, Sandra, not Diana.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Sandra.
No, I said that too. I did say that.
But whoever said it, it's a great insight because it's true. I mean, she does these things that she thinks are better, and on the one hand, it's sort of like, who are you to make that kind of decision for somebody else? But then on the other hand, it's like she's kind of perceptive because in both situations, the person really appreciated it.
I think that in that scene, Mary, where he's listening to Rory and he's listening to why she's upset with him, and she's at the moment where they were at the table together, that does show that it's in his personality to learn and listen to others and be receptive to how other people feel about things.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
I don't know.
I'd
feel
like to see
he
more of
was
it.
Constantly arguing back to her. Like every time she would make a point, he'd be like, "Yeah, but you can do another class," and "Oh, it's not a big deal." Like I don't see him as receiving it, as just ping ponging back.
Is that also because in some ways he's just used to, oh, it'll be another class, it doesn't matter. He's going to school because he already knows his destination in life, not because, hey, this is something I really want to do.
That's the way I see it.
Said to him, so he's not enthusiastic as much.
I saw
dialogue can't talk about.
True. Kathy
In a
Ann's
way.
been flashing, guys.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out though that what you guys are saying is that leads down the spoiler road, trying to discuss that aspect of him relating to school.
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. Kathy Ann, did you want to say?
Yes. So normally I would have a big defense for Logan, but without spoiling anything, all I can say is in omnia paratus.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's just cryptic. Well, that's just cryptic. That's just
the whole
cryptic.
point.
Yes, Kathy.
I mean, I think that that the only pushback that I have about that, because it's true. That is probably why Logan, is sort of behaving the way he is. But to sort of assume that everyone else come down to that level, I think is a little entitled, right? Like to assume that she doesn't care, because if you do that, then you are basically saying like, yeah, there's another class. Like that's basically saying like the one that you had, you shouldn't care about. And then and she's saying like, no, like I really wanted to get something out of that class. And now it's gone.
Well, if you remember, he didn't say there's another class. Like he ultimately, like when he realized that, okay, this isn't just another girl that would get like impressed or that could kind of get, I don't want to say persuaded because I don't think Logan's that type of person, but just like laugh it off or something like that. Logan's kind of like met his match with someone that he could spar with, because Rory's not the type of person that will just let someone do that. She's going to push back. And I think that when Rory was like, that class is 6 weeks, you took that week away from me. And then Logan's like, oh crap, like, okay, this is not working.
And his answer was that my dad knows the professor. I can have a one-on-one, but a one-on-one is not going to be the same as the roundabout like we're doing now.
Right, to give and take. All with Logan, he did say to her, there's another class next week,
guys.
And so by him saying that, he thinks, he doesn't realize that not everybody feels the same way as he does about school.
I wasn't done.
I know, but you did say that he didn't say there was another class, and he did say that there was another class.
Right. I just don't appreciate people interrupting me.
Okay, I just want to jump in here, John. I think it might be best to move off of Logan at this point, because there's going to be plenty of time to talk about Logan. And
Yeah, let's do it.
Stuff that people
Yeah,
want to talk
definitely.
about really will get into spoiler territory.
Okay.
Maybe we should move on to Luke and Lorelai.
Agreed,
Fair.
Chris.
Just to be
Thank
fair.
you.
Agreed.
So Luke and Lorelai, which I think Luke and Lorelai have, their plot in this episode kind of mirrors a little bit of what we were talking about with the Logan stuff, with Lorelai and the boat and all of that. Who wants to dive?
Very much agree.
Pun intended. Pun absolutely intended.
I think that Lorelai was kind of in the wrong, only because Luke really had sort of seemed to make a decision that he wanted to let the boat go, and she wasn't listening to that. And I understand that in the end he might change his mind, but I think the fact that she wasn't really listening to what he was saying from his point of view, and she's just thinking about what she might want. I get what he was saying with that. So I kind of sided with Luke why he was angry. And I appreciate the fact that he went back and apologized to her for being angry on his dark day and all that. But it's one of those things Lorelai does do, that sometimes it's just like she just kind of interferes in a good way. She means in good intentions, but she still kind of interferes with people's things. Sorry, lack of a better way to put it.
Agreed.
I found myself really 50-50 in that situation, just because I understand where Luke is coming from, but I also sort of understand that from a trauma point of view, that he doesn't totally probably doesn't totally mean what he's saying. So that's why I was like, I don't really want 100% side with you, because it seems like your like dark day brain is sort of ruling at the moment. And I totally understand that Lorelai like sort of possibly overstepped a little bit, but at the same time, I understand that she had really good intentions. So I couldn't find myself like taking sides with either of them, because I understood 100% fully what both of them were sort of feeling, and I also understand that this situation was gonna like resolve, because there are good intentions and misunderstandings, like Luke misunderstanding and not being able to talk how he would normally talk because of his dark day and all that.
And I think he also probably realized how nasty he was to Mrs. Thompson, I believe it was, and that it was just a bad coincidence how it came about.
Yeah.
And yes, her name
what-
is Mrs. Thompson.
Thank you.
Oh, and Mrs. Thompson. That was Mrs. Thompson lives in a house that, in an actual structure that is also where the band lives.
Apparently,
so you know,
you guys live with Mrs. Thompson.
we live with Mrs. Thompson.
roommate.
They just put that little mailbox there, put a bunch of cat knickknacks in the window, and it's suddenly Mrs. Thompson's house.
She's moving to the nursing home because of all the noise.
Does that mean that
Yeah,
you
but-
took over her house?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like even that, like the little porch. You know, there's that little porch area. If you remember, in a later season, we come walking down that porch to see the sub van, and it's also where like a pretty well-known picture of the band is taken, which I want to say somebody here has used as their profile picture. But they had a bunch of like, you know, what was clearly just a bunch of like weeds and stuff, you know, branches and stuff like that they had just put in front of there to like hide that little area of the thing. So it's just funny. I mean, there's not much. You have to recycle it, make the town look, you know, make the town look a bit bigger than it actually is. Dark Day. I was saying it in the episode, but this is something that you see happen on television a lot, where they establish something that is quite like something annual, some sort of a ritual, you know, in the series, and then it never comes back ever again. And the Dark Day, for whatever reason, it's now in my head. I'm going to be waiting for next year's Dark Day. I want to know when it is. You know, I want to see it. And if I don't see it, I'm going to be disappointed.
November 30th.
I better hear a reference to it, even if the episode itself doesn't land on the Dark Day, because of course these episodes, you know, they jump time periods and stuff. I want to hear a reference to that Dark Day.
Gosh, I hope so. No.
I never even thought about that. Thank you.
I never thought about it either. I don't even remember if they ever reference it again now that you're saying that.
But it's just something that happens on television a lot, you know, like where something is brought up in a series, you know, in an earlier season about a character that's very specific and is like tied to some kind of ritual, and it becomes a very important plot point of the episode. And then it never comes back again, even though it was established as a ritual.
I just liked how they played against each other, but I think you're right that it would be I don't know if it ever comes up again. I had to have to think about that.
I was gonna say, since we can't really answer that as a spoiler free, we can maybe talk
Let's
about
move
the
on. Yeah, the boat really looked like it was full of cobwebs.
Yeah, he said that he was paying for the garage for 15 years, and his father paid him 20 years before that, and nobody touched the boat since the dad got sick. So it's been sitting there for more than 15 years.
But I love how the cobwebs are still there, even though they
Absolutely.
Wind resistant cobweb.
What kind of boat is it? Can we get a better sense for what kind of
I
boat
think it's
it
just a
is?
fisherman boat.
It's
a
a small little
wannabe
boat.
pirate ship.
Because it really looks like a little mini pirate ship with that like big wheel.
Big wheel.
Well, I think it would, since this was the 2000s, 15 or 20 years ago would have been like into 80. I can't do math. Would have been quite a time before that. So maybe that pirate ship wheel per se would have been just like kind of normal to have.
And we don't know if the dad started the boat from scratch and that's the wheel that he wound up finding for it, or whether or not he had it and was just fixing it up. Don't.
I mean, I'm just kind of snickering at the whole style of the boat. It was funny, but I mean, it's not a big deal. It's you know, it's just it's a boat. It's meant to, you know, it's meant to be much deeper than the actual what the boat was, the style of the boat, etc. I mean, it's clearly like a moment of pain, and the dark day. Yeah, I don't know. Does anybody else have any other thoughts on the dark day?
I do.
Yeah.
I completely understand his dark day. And for personal reasons, and I would, I have one. I've had one for the last 7 years. It's actually coming up next month. So, you know, and I would probably have the same kind of reaction to Lorelai as Luke did when he found out she had the boat, and because he specifically said, "Get rid of it; it's gone." And then when he found out she had it, it was like, I don't hold on to things like that, he said. And then she says, "Oh, it's except for the horoscope," and I mean, I would have totally probably lost it on her at that point and just been like, that's a completely different thing, and then he retracked later and came back like, "I'm sorry," and they kind of didn't actually settle the whole thing. They just kind of agreed to disagree, kind of, in a way.
What was Room's reaction like when she made that comment, when she made that reference to the horoscope? How did you feel about that?
It was a weird moment. I have to be honest, just from there was, I don't know if you noticed, but they did not change the camera to see his reaction to it. It like, she said it as one sentence, and they didn't even give you a sense for whether or not that landed on him at all.
I sort of took it as her like having the oh my gosh, like the nature to like banter. I can't remember the other word, but and so in her trying to like do a banter, because that's just, like, what she does constantly, and that's like her basically like her defense in a way, that came out. And then immediately she's like, "I shouldn't have brought that up," because he's like, "I don't hold on to things," and she's like, "Well, except for this." She's like, "Oh, that was right to say." I don't think it was planned at all. I don't think she was like, yeah, let's bring this up or anything. I think she sort of just really awkwardly accidentally said something because she was just trying to bring up any sort of banter into the conversation.
I didn't love that she said it. And I think that that the fact that she said it and then kind of apologized for it right after was also a little bit of a cop-out, right? Because the fact that she apologized for it like a second after saying it tells me that she kind of knew as she was saying it, or even before she said it, that it was not cool to say, but she said it anyway. And then she didn't even really give him a chance to respond to it before she sort of then took it back.
I don't know. I feel like there's been things I've said that didn't realize as I was saying, and then realized as I said it how bad it sounded. So maybe one of those types is.
Maybe. I just found it interesting that they didn't turn the camera on him. We didn't see if that landed on him or whatever. They allowed that whole moment to belong to Lorelai from beginning to end. They didn't allow us to get any sense from him how something like that would affect him.
Does anybody think that it did kind of gut him a little bit, or do you think he just kind of breezed past and didn't really care about it?
I think
I
he's so
think it
angry.
landed, I think it.
I think it's bringing up memories he's not ready to deal with.
I definitely think it hurt him, at least a little bit, because, you know, he's held on to that thing for 8 years because he's been in love with her for that long. And so for her to throw that back in his face in a moment like that, I'm sure that hurt. And to me, I was cringing. Like, I cringe every single time she says it. Like, I know she didn't mean it. I don't think she intentionally, like, meant to hurt him, but I agree with John in the sense that I think she like threw it out there not really thinking about it, but then at the same time, like, as soon as like it was coming out of her mouth, she knew that it would hurt him, and that's why she was like, I'm so, like, which is the worst thing to say right now, but I do think that she kind of knew that it would hurt him, but I don't think, you know, she meant to, but I definitely think it hurt him at least a little bit.
I don't think that she was meaning to hurt him. I think that she was kind of trying to justify her actions, and she used that as a way to justify her actions, which is kind of, it's kind of a little kind of cheap.
Maybe that was the reason, like, they totally kept it on her. Like you said, let the moment belong to Lorelai, because then everybody looked at the conversation we're having and we're all kind of like, damn.
Yeah. Oh, that is probably why they did it. But, you know, just the fact that she got it out and then was able to apologize for it, like, she got everything she wanted out of the moment. You see what I'm saying?
100%.
Like, she got him to hear that he has held on to things before, and so why should this be different? And then she got to apologize so that she could then, you know, like, show him that she didn't really want to hurt him. Like, so that moment just belonged to her from beginning to end.
Stacy made a good point on the Remarkist chat. Can I read it if that's okay?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let me get back to it. Stacy says, I think Luke projects his feelings about his dad and his grief into the boat. Having it hidden was a way for him to keep it close, but never really process it. Lorelai having it in her garage was pushing it in front of him, forcing him to deal with it without him being ready.
Oh my God, that's a good point.
Yeah.
But didn't she say that she was going to wind up hiding the boat? I don't think she was putting it in a place hoping that he would see it. I'm thinking that she actually wanted to get it to be behind the inn before he ever had a chance. And when he calmed down, she could approach him later on and see if it's actually something that he wants to work on it, or if he does indeed want to get rid of it.
Sort of like a redemption, you mean?
Well, just when
Maybe.
he's cool, like when he's cool-headed, because right now he's in his dark phase and we don't make the best decisions when we're in the dark phase. And that's why she fought so hard for him not to go to the garage, and she had all the trees. Like, she didn't want him to see it right.
I wonder do you think she was more trying to, like, advocate for him? Like, maybe once he has time to think about it, he needs to do something with his boat, because that could be like therapeutic for him. Like,
Cooler has to prevail.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's just
This
very
is-
emotional.
Oh, very true.
I don't perceive Stacy's comment as like Lorelai was trying to put it in his face, but it was just kind of naturally and organically in his face, because it's like, okay, here's still this object, this tangible reminder that is right here in front of me that I stumbled across that I was not ready to process right now in this moment. Not in the sense of like Lorelai was trying to put it in his face, but it was still in his face, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. That makes a lot of sense.
What about Doyle?
I was just about to say, let's move to Doyle and
Oh my gosh, yes.
I love
So
them
adorable.
so much. So much.
I
They're so
mean,
good.
he can keep up with her. Nobody has been able to keep up with her so far. And it's really refreshing. I mean, he's
Yep.
obviously really uncomfortable with our little life coach guy, whose name I can't remember.
Oh,
but-
Terrence.
Terrence.
Terrence,
Oh, yes,
I mean,
but
they had a conference
Yeah,
call
absolutely.
with him.
yeah, it was like he was really uncomfortable, but he wasn't like storming out and leaving. So there was like sort of this thing like, okay, I'm gonna sort of stick with it because I'm kind of like interested in you in whatever way he may be interested at this really early point.
I'm excited about this. I think it's cool. I want to say that I may have been spoiled on the fact that they were together. I think this was one of those things where I didn't actually think about it at all, haven't thought about it one bit. But then as soon as they started like clearly, oh, these two are getting together, there was like this kind of like, oh yeah, I think I feel like I've seen something on the lot or back when we were doing up or something, maybe it was like the fact that like, during there was that ATX reunion that we did, and maybe there was some stuff that was said on stage that like kind of insinuated that the two characters were together. And so I kind of feel like I might have been like kind of mildly spoiled on that once it happened, but I don't really know where it's going. I don't know if they stay together for a while, but I hope they do. Because I really like the dynamic a lot. I think it makes a lot of sense, and probably will have some fun. Like you can do a lot. I think you can do a lot with that. I don't know if there will be like a lot of conflict in their relationship, other than like the conflict that you would expect from two characters with those kind of personalities, but just as like a kind of comic side thing, I think it will be pretty fun.
They're both really chaotic, and it's
But I have to tell you that this is where I start having Doyle be my favorite, because I start seeing that he is quite accepting and quite open-minded and very flexible in what he will take and put up with, and I really appreciate it.
Well, I love it. Yeah, I love it too. And I love how when we meet Doyle, he's sort of like alpha male newspaper man, like he knows everything, he's bossing everybody around. And then it's the moment where Glenn gets in the New York Times and he does it, and you kind of see him fall apart. And I love that, you could see with Paris immediately in that one scene, like she's already sort of like dressing him down and he's just taking it. And it's so funny. It's like you can kind of understand how Doyle became the head of the newspaper, because it's like the one area of life where he can probably like have a ton of control, and it's very funny.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, Mary, also about the because I know that was your favorite character or one of your favorite characters, and I was sort of waiting for. I mean, I think he's interesting, but this could really. I think that this could really change my feelings about him as well.
He's one of my
like,
favorite characters too. I love.
Danny Strong is a very talented man.
Yes, he is.
Yes, I was gonna say
Very
Strong is
impressive.
great.
wasn't he like a writer on Empire or something?
Yeah, he's the creator of
The
it.
creative empire.
Oh my
He wrote-
gosh, that's right. That's right.
He
I
created
totally was so
Empire.
surprised.
He wrote Recount.
He wrote Game Change.
Game Change.
Wasn't he involved in Lee Daniels with The Butler?
Yes,
He was.
he was.
Yeah, I totally only knew him from Gilmore Girls, and then I saw like an interview. Wait, I think with Scott Patterson. He was like, "Yeah, I ran into him, and he was like, yeah, I have this new show called Empire," and I was like, "Wait, Doyle made Empire? Excuse me?"
That was the panel that they did in Texas.
Wasn't he in Buffy
ATX.
also?
He was. He was in
He
all
was an
7
actor
seasons
in
of Buffy.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
all
he's-
that to goes to say like Doyle is definitely going to have change your mind on things, John.
Oh, great. I'm excited for it. You know how I like having my mind changed.
Have we discussed Marty at all tonight?
No, but let's
Poor
end
Mark.
on Marty, and then I'm
Oh
gonna
my
have to
gosh,
get.
I can't believe I forgot about him.
Let's jump into Marty really quick, and then I'm gonna actually head out. I'm gonna make Charlie a moderator, and Shauna a moderator, and Regina a moderator. Yeah. I wonder if Marty will be in the revival. I wonder if he'll be in the revival. I mean, I'm
John,
just-
do you
Me
wonder if
too.
he'll be in the revival?
What's up?
Do you wonder if he'll be in the revival?
I'm gonna just say it. I wonder if he's gonna be in the revival. I really like Marty. I'm nervous that Marty's days are numbered on the show. Mostly because, really, truly, mostly because I just don't remember him. I don't remember him. Not that that means anything, like as if, me remembering a character or another actor on set had anything to do with whether or not they ended up being on the show. I would have said, I kind of remembered a little bit of him and would have assumed that last season would be the sort of remaining, all of the Marty that we would have gotten. So we've already gotten out. We're deep into the second season with Marty, and I just think that there's a lot that you can pull out of this, and I really hope that they do. And I gotta be honest, like, I kind of want Rory to at least flirt with the idea of Marty. Just flirt with the idea. Just consider it.
Yes.
Rory, just consider it.
I
Just
like
consider
discussed
it.
this like season 1 in like an after show that this is what I want. I love Marty. And also, John, I think maybe we could, erase you from Team Dean and like pencil you over in Marty now because Marty's
Erase. Oh my
great. Marty's great and Dean needs to be, shoot.
You want me to erase Dean? You said you want to erase Dean?
I'm gonna
from-
erase your name from the list of Team Dean. And put
you want to take me off of the Team Dean and you want me
Please.
you want to put me onto Team Marty?
You don't even have to like Logan or anybody else. Be Marty instead of Dean.
Sounded like you were gonna Sopranos.
Well,
him.
I'll tell you what, I like Marty a lot, and I mean, I didn't know that there was a Team Marty, but like, if there is truly
There
a
is
Team
not a
Marty,
Team Marty. No,
Oh,
it's just
darn
Lily.
it.
Regina, I'm going
Well,
to
you know
like,
what?
find you.
Lily, let's start a Team Marty.
Oh,
Yes.
Team Marty. Regina is lying.
Regina calls him Discount John Mayer and like it's so mean.
He does look like John Mayer. He does.
Oh, jeez, Christ.
I just
I
have
need
to
to
say,
change
She's
I need
nice,
to change
man.
my profile picture again.
What's up?
Do I need to change my profile?
Yeah,
picture?
Shauna's
Shauna,
picture
do
was
it.
John Mayer for a
Shauna,
minute
do it.
because John Mayer actually had a clubhouse room during an after show, and then we were all like trying to figure out what he was doing, and it was just really big, like a long talk, and so it's like a joke now that John Mayer is like a joke thing now. I don't know.
Yeah, it started from me because I called him a Discount John Mayer and I created a monster. I'm sorry.
But then I
I
said
love Marty.
John Mayer
I-
is a Discount Marty though, so that's how.
I'm into Marty. If there is a Team Marty, I am fully into the
Team
idea
Marty.
of being a Team
Finally, we
Marty.
agree on a team. John.
Wait, one thing I wanted to mention about Marty in this episode specifically is I always thought this, and I thought it again as we watched it again. Marty, his lines in this episode are very much like in the ASP universe, Gilmore universe, like the way he's super quick, the way he says, yes, Paris, like, like he's very much like part of the fabric of the show in a way that struck me, and it always strikes me during this episode specifically. Did anyone else notice that?
I didn't, but I can see it now that you're mentioning it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bummer to think just from this conversation that likely I'm wrong in in thinking that that maybe potentially there's at least one smidgen of Marty romance in the works. I mean, it would just make me very happy to at least see it, even if it meant his heart gets broken. I just want to see a little bit of Rory considering it, because I think he's a good guy. I think he's a really good guy. And I think that they could absolutely have a great relationship, those two.
And I don't think Marty would cheat on his wife.
Well, yeah, that, but I just think, in terms of like, we've talked about what does Rory need and all that. And I think that Marty is like, he kind of has this like kind of slow cadence, but he seems like a smart guy. He's at Yale, I mean, he seems like somebody who's got he has interests that align with hers. Like he likes music, and I mean, I just feel like he's a good looking guy. He seems like a very nice guy. I'd be bummed if that's it, if we don't get much more than just like he's just a friend.
Would you feel that same way if you knew that he was Mia's son?
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Trying to do? Yep.
Are you serious?
Nice. Yeah, she is. Oh my god. No. Well, now you know, I guess. Whatever.
If I knew that he was Mia's son, I think I'd like him more, because I would want him to get out of there.
Oh my god.
What is your problem with Mia? Like,
I'd be like,
she has shown
get
no
out,
ill
get
intentions
out.
at all.
Kathy Ann splashing.
Kathy Ann.
Ooh.
I was very disappointed with Marty in this episode, because
Ooh,
you
do
can
tell.
very much tell that he likes Rory.
Yep.
And he was very quick to point out that Logan likes Rory when he put her in the cab.
Yep.
But he won't speak up about himself.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
But
I
I
know.
actually respected him more because of that. I respected him because he was like, look at how he's treating you. He likes you. And he is hoping that she'll pick up that Marty's treating her with much more respect. And it's also his way of showing that he likes her. And I also respect him for having the self-respect of saying, I'm not going to get in this cab with you right now because you're not making me feel good about like, he had enough self-respect to say, I deserve better than to be with you because you're making me feel bad. I'm going to go for a walk. You get home. But he made sure she could get home safely.
You know what would be
That's not the
Also-
part that we're disappointed in. At least for me, like I know just the way that he talks to Rory in that pointed tone. Like, what does he say? What does he say? Okay, in with him, with his group. He likes you. Stop being so naive. It's annoying. That's the part that I had problems.
He's so whiny in that moment. Like it just drives me crazy.
He's heartbroken though.
I don't think he's whiny at all. I think he's telling her the truth and she needs to hear it. I think he's
I
her
do
real
too.
friend.
I just, when you look back, she really is naive to when somebody likes her. Like,
True.
and she was even still, when Marty tried to ask her if she had a boyfriend when they first met, you would think he would have picked up on it from that, of her not even understanding if she had a boyfriend or not. She had to run away and find out.
Marty's just scared to say what he feels. That's just the way. He's one of those guys who is too afraid to tell her how he feels.
Yeah, but I think that he made it
disappointed.
very clear. I think he made it very clear when he put her into the cab. Like he told her exactly how he felt without actually having to say it.
But she's
But to
So
me,
I
I'm
disagree that
disappointed
he was a
because I
coward
wish.
there.
I'm
I
not
think that-
saying he was a coward. I'm disappointed that that's actually reality, that so many people are so scared to talk about their feelings.
Yeah.
And it disappoints me that he is scared to do that he obviously has lost some type of self-confidence somewhere.
Yeah, he's had a lot of opportunities to try and say things to her, and he doesn't like flat out say it.
What if
kind of danced or found it?
What if he comes back in the revival? What if like all of what if all of the guys like Dean, Jess, Logan, all of them come back and they're just all duds, every one of them. And he comes back in the revival and it's like, we're just like, oh my gosh.
John, did you write this revival?
He was the catch all along. But at that point, it's too late. It's all too late. Rory could have had him, but she missed out. And now look at him.
Where is Carl with his, where's Carl
look
with
at him
his
go.
Colonel's bet?
Look at
I'll speak for
Marty
Carl
go.
on his behalf. Want to put some
Oh my
pressure
gosh.
on
Carl,
Marty
okay.
is like
I was just
Marty
about
is
to
like,
message him and be like, "You want to put kernels on this?"
You know,
Marty's like off like he's a jet setter. He's going all around the world. He's a reporter. He's like reporting on stuff. He's like, he's in like war zones. I mean, he's just like everything. He's a male Christiane Amanpour in the revival, and all the other three are just complete duds. What if that happened?
It's kind of like in Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion, where like the guy the guy who is like not cool at all, like has the.
He comes back with the helicopter.
Oh my gosh. John,
I
I just got a message from Carl that says he no longer wants to do bets because he thinks you cheat.
No one talks about the real villain of this episode, Giovanni Ribisi.
That was
Discount Giovanni Ribisi.
It's not him.
Giovanni Ribisi.
No,
If it was, this show should be like That Thing You Do. 5 minutes into the movie, he breaks his arm, is replaced by someone.
Oh my goodness.
I love that
I like
you do so much. Like that movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. So
You are
I
in
just
good
had to say
company. And I'm so glad
All
you
right.
shared tonight.
Everybody, I'm heading out.
Thank you.
I do want to say, Lily, I think we've got something here with a Team Marty.
Hey, we finally agree. From season 1, I have disagreed with you, and finally,
Finally, we're on the same team.
And I gotta actually tell you a little thought that Carl has given me. He says that Brian is Marty, and John is also Marty. From Carl
Is
to
it
you.
possible that that's why I like Marty? that I was rejected in
Marty.
college, but all right, everybody, this was a lot of fun. I really like this smaller number here in the post show. I don't know. There's just something about the dialogue just crackles a lot more, I think it's really nice. So I might like start doing that. I actually restricted the number of folks for post show, from 30 down to 20. I don't know if we had exactly that, but specifically for that reason, I think that it's better for us up here. We have a better experience. And then I also think that it's then a better experience for those that are on the beanbags listening to us.
Yeah, I think at least for the post show, we should do like a pretty normal sort of like reservation.
Yeah.
Especially for post show, because I feel like that it just sort of makes everything flow better. Like it's always like nice to have like new opinions from people, but it's nice when people like really want to be up and we can all just like banter. Sort of,
yeah.
It also encourages lively discussion, like through Discord and discussion.
Yeah,
that's
true. We have the new chat feature on Clubhouse, which is like super cool.
Oh, it's so much fun.
It's so
Yep.
This discussion made me realize I couldn't say as much as I would have liked to because I would have had to spoil you, John. So that's why I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I've kind of kept it out.
a spoiler.
Fair enough. Are we going to, I'm gonna leave now, but I feel like it's apropos to do a happy birthday from all of us to you. Happy birthday. May all your dreams come true. Charlie, may you have many blessings. now and your whole life through.
Nice.
Happy birthday from all of us to you. Hey!
Happy birthday, Charlie.
I'm sorry.
I think we
There
bring-
were more lyrics to Happy Birthday.
Yes.
Yes.
I think we should bring
also
more
weird
people
how
on the
Lucky's
couch to
birthday-
sing happy birthday to Charlie as a group.
We want to try it?
Yeah, let's bring
Let's do
people
it.
up from the couch, from the beanbags.
All right.
Come on, Carl.
We are opening the couch as I'm heading out. We're going to sing happy birthday as I leave. Bye, everyone. Happy birthday.
Cha cha cha.
Happy
Happy birthday.
Cha cha cha.
Happy birthday, dear Charlie. Happy birthday to you. Bye, Charlie.
Beautiful. That was beautiful.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good night. See you tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm